Hi there, my name's Chuck Miller, and on occasion I've taken stuff that you would find in a flea market or a salvage yard or an antique store or a swap meet, and I've taken them apart, cleaned them up, and reassembled them into functional pieces of art or functional home equipment. What I'm going to show you today is a functional hope chest that is made out of old wooden soda crates. It's a very simple project, and you can do this by yourself. You don't need to have a table saw or any major tools. What you'll need are 4 old wooden soda crates. You probably want to get the same brand, if that way they'll all match up. You also want to get a power drill, hammer, some stain if you wish, some wood glue, and some polishing compound, like a wax, like a paste wax. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you step by step how this is done. It's very simple. You can do it in a day, and you can do it by yourself. What we have here is a wooden 7-Up soda carrying crate. It measures approximately 18 inches wide by 12 inches deep and about 5 inches in height. And this is from the 1970s. As you can see, it's got the words "The Uncola." Also has its designation of the bottling plant where it was used, Willow Springs. Now this side is much cleaner than, I'll show you, this side, which is kind of scuffed. We're going to probably use that either for the back or for the top, for the lid. But for now, what we're going to have to do is take out this metal flashing and remove all these nails. And they go all the way around. It shouldn't be too hard to do, but we're going to take all these out and separate all these planks and wood. And this should take about 30 to 45 minutes with the right proper tools. What we have here for tools is we've got a couple hammers, a little nail ripper, and a chisel. What we're going to do is take the chisel, shove it in here, and start loosening up this metal flashing. Once we do that, these nails should start coming out one by one. These are not the only nails in the unit. There's some nails tucked in underneath, so we're going to have to pull those too. This should take a little while. I'll come back to it as soon as we get them done, and I'll show you how the progress is. Okay, so I've removed the flashing, and you can see it's in these leftover strips. Usually I have to break these strips apart. I'm very lucky that both strips came off intact, although realistically there's no way I'll ever use them again. And these are all the nails that came loose. Again, I'm going to throw those away. And here we have the remaining portions of the 7-Up crate. And as you can see, there's going to be some nails right here and here. 2 on each side of this, and then there's one holding the middle rails, the base rails on the bottom. We're going to take all these nails out, remove the base, take these 2 planks out, because we're not going to use those. And then I'll make a decision as to whether I put these planks back in and use this crate as the base of the chest or do something else. So here's where we are right now. The planks came apart pretty well. I was able to save all 4 of the panels and 1 of the base. These chunks here didn't do so well. Some of them tore. As you can see, that one tore right out, so there's really no way I can put that back in, and it's just, they're going to end up being scrap anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this panel and this panel, this panel and this, and that's going to be the 4 walls of the 7-Up portion of the hope chest. This panel here, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I may just save it, put a couple of hangers on it, and just put it up on the wall as some sort of decorative piece. But for all intents and purposes, these 4 pieces here are going to be the next portion of the chest. These planks have taken some time to dry in the sun, and what I'm going to do now is make sure to protect the fronts of the panels. These are the ones that are going to be on the interior of the chest. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some fast drying polyurethane from Minwax. I picked the clear gloss version, and normally what you would do is you would sand this down to a flat finish. However, I do want to show the roughness and the grain in the wood, and in some cases there might be some interior advertising on the chest that I want to also show. So this is more for protection so that you don't end up getting like splinters or slivers. And I'm just going to get started. Basically just stir up the polyurethane, use a natural bristle brush, and put a couple of coats right on. Allow 20 minutes to dry between each coat. Okay, so what we've got now is we've had everything dry out on the back, and the urethane's all taken care of. Now it's going to come time for the screwing. We're going to screw these in. You can see where the original nail holes were from the flashing and the old rusted nails. We're going to try to match up 3 screws for each corner, okay? And one thing to always make sure of, always double check to make sure your sides are right side up. I've done this before where I've put this thing together and this has been upside down and that looks kind of crummy. What you do with this is you take this Tight Bond Ultimate Wood Glue and we're going to put a little strip of it right in the wood joint. Then we're going to put this on. We're going to put one of these screws into a hole right here. These are really cool. They're called spacks, and they're self-drilling screws. They got little teeth at the end, so you don't have to drill a pilot hole or anything like that. You can drill it right into a hole that doesn't exist, you know, just like a spot like right here or so you could drill. I want to put one in first and then make any sort of adjustments this way to make sure it's all lined up. Once I'm sure of that, then I'll put 2 more screws here and here and anchor it down. Then just let the glue dry and the frame should be ready to go. And here it is. This is the 7-Up crate that I took apart and screwed back together. Now, as you can see, we've got the screws here on the sides. There's 3 on each corner. And what we're going to do is we're going to take these crates that have been finished and we're going to stack them. I've got another one here. This is a Royal Crown Cola crate, and we're going to stack these. And once we get about 3 or 4 of them together, we're going to put these poplar boards in and screw them into place. So that'll give the crate extra strength so that you won't lift it up and it'll fall apart. Once we get about 3 or 4 of them in that framework, then we're going to put together the lid, screw everything together, put some hinges in the back, maybe some clasps in the front, and it's going to look really swank, I think. So I took a Hires soda crate and I tore that apart. I've already screwed it together. You can see the screws on each corner. And this is all ready to go. This is going to be my bottom rung of the soda chest. And what I've done is I've taken these planks. These were the bottoms of other soda chests. And I was able to save as many of them as I could. Some of these are solid. Some of them are actually, you know, sections. They split apart when I took them apart. This is going to be beneficial for me because what we're going to do is we're going to screw every one of these into the base. Probably take 1 screw per plank, 2 for the larger ones. Once that's done, we're going to urethane the bottom of it to get rid of any scratches, splinters, scuffs, that kind of thing. And that's going to be our base. I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. So here's the base. And as you can see, the interior has a nice coat of urethane in there that's drying as we speak. And this has all been bolted together. And I also use these Spax screws on the bottom to bolt all these boards so they're nice and solid. Now, when I get around to waiting for the urethane to dry, I'm going to finish the front of this with this product. This is Howard Feed and Wax. It's a mixture of beeswax, orange oil, and carnauba oil. And we're going to put a liberal coat on all 4 of the outside walls of the chest. We've done this with some of the other rings that we've put together. So you just pour a little of this into a cloth, buff it in, wait a little while, wipe off the excess, and it really rejuvenates the wood and it makes it look really nice. So once this is finally dry, we'll start stacking the rings, and you can see how the chest is going to start coming together. Well, look what we've got here. I screwed in the poplar sticks, and I put them in on the sides because the wood is thicker on the side than it is on the front. Each one, as you can see, it's a nice little screw. I put a little glue to bond them in. Now I have to decide what's going to be the next ring in this chest. And I'm probably going to go with the royal crown. I'm going to put that one. I'm going to thread it right through these two boards, and then I'm going to put it through these other two boards. Now, the reason I can't do it right now is because I'm trying to hold the phone to film this and try to assemble this. But trust me, once I turn this off and put the phone down and actually do this, it'll fit like a glove. See, I told you it would fit. I just had to use two hands to anchor it all down and put a screw in on each side of the royal crown section of the ring. Now I'm going to put the phone down again to put in the 7-Up ring and get that all anchored in. This should actually, now these poplar linings were 11 inches tall, so they should just fit up to the edge of the lid if I measured it correctly. We'll see if I did in the next clip. And there you have it. This is the body of the chest. And as you can see, it's nice and colorful. You have the green 7-Up, the red royal crown, and the amber colored hires. Now for the top, we're going to take another soda crate, bash that apart, and we're going to use some of the slats from previous soda crates to make the lid and the top of the lid. And as you see, it's going to be a lot of fun to put together. Then we'll hinge it, clasp it, and it's going to really look swank. So we've already built the base and the body of our soda crate hope chest. Now I want to build a lid. For that, I've taken apart a soda crate branded by Pepsi Cola. I just have to remove a few more nails. Once I get this done, I'm going to show you our next step, which will be to put a lid on the lid. And there's your lid. Now, of course, this lid for the chest is going to need a top. What I've done with previous soda crates is I've taken a piece of the floor of the crate and used that as the back panel. That allows me to have an extra board, like this royal crown, or this 7-Up, or even this Coca-Cola. Those are going to be screwed to the top of the lid, and that's going to be your top of your lid. Give me a second and I'll show you how that looks. And there you have it. I screwed the 7-Up, the Coca-Cola, and the royal crown boards, and I made it look like a pattern, like a traffic light or maybe the flag of Italy, and those are now the top of the lid. What I'm going to do after this is get some hinges. You can get a pair of hinges from your local hardware store for just a couple of dollars. I'll screw those into the back, and I'll put a clasp on the front. Again, you can get those at your hardware store, and they're only a few dollars. Screw that in so that I can have a locking chest. And for an added touch, I'm going to also get some chains, and I'm going to put them on the inside so that when you open the lid, you don't open it up all the way. It just opens up maybe to a 90-degree angle or so. I'll show you how that looks in the next shot. And here's the finished product. This is the Soda Crate Hope Chest. As you can see, we've got hires, Royal Crown, 7-Up, Pepsi, and even a little Coca-Cola. And if you open the lid like this, these chains keep the lid from flying completely off. Nice little piece, huh? Measures approximately 18 inches wide, 12 inches deep, and maybe about 16 inches with the lid in height. This is a project you can build by yourself with minimal tools, and It's a good weekend project, and your friends will be very impressed that you've built this. Have a great day, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.